Let's talk about affordable lighting. Hey, I'm Scott and welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, we do all kinds of unboxings, tests, reviews, anything photo and video related. So if you like today's content, please do consider subscribing and hitting that little bell icon to make sure you get notifications when new content is uploaded. Today we're talking about this guy. This is the LED-2000 from Golden Eagle. Before we get into this though, I just want to note that right now my camera is white balanced for the 120D Mark II from Aputure. So as we switch over to this light right now, you might see a little bit of a magenta and white balance shift. So I will, before we go into this full review, readjust my white balance of my camera, so hopefully that can cover for it a little bit. But just be aware that there is a little bit of a white balance and a magenta green shift difference between these two lights. There we go. Hopefully that helped. I don't know, maybe it made it worse, but we're gonna go with it. So the GoldenEye LED-2000 is a 200 watt daylight COB style LED light with a Bowens mount. It's only powered from wall power, and it does have a simple remote that's powered by AAA batteries, and it costs right around $300. It can of course be very, very bright. In my readings with the Seikonic C800, it seems to be about the same or a little bit brighter than the Aputure 120D Mark II, depending on which modifier you're using. Just bare LED chip or in the Light Dome Mark II like I'm using right now, it seems to be about the same brightness, but if you throw on the reflector that comes with the Golden Eagle LED, then it's actually a bit brighter than the 120D Mark II. For sure, certain parts feel plastic and low cost, but nothing really critical. I generally support them saving money where they could and passing along the savings. I just hope that the internals will hold up over time in heavy use. The knob to tighten it onto a light stand can be a little bit finicky, and the lever to tighten it down and hold the light's angle is plastic, but it doesn't feel terrible. The mount itself is actually metal, which is nice, but it's not a rosette style mount, so you will have to make sure that you tighten it down well to avoid slipping when using heavier modifiers. It does also have a hole in the mount and in the rear grip for an umbrella to sit in, but the included reflector does not have an umbrella hole, so you'd be forced to use another reflector or the bare chip in that type of setup. The mount itself feels good and the lock works well, and the reflector has a built-in diffusion. I've seen this type of diffusion filter before, but the weird thing here is that it's literally screwed in, not a clip-on. That's fine if you want to use it, or if you'll only use it with other modifiers, but it's going to be annoying if you want to remove that and just use the bare reflector. It's not something that you can do quickly anyway. The actual interface on the back is wonderfully simple. It's just a power switch, a knob for brightness, and a simple digital screen. The switch and the knob actually feel really good. The knob clicks softly as you turn it in a nice way, and you can push it to switch over to channel adjustment for the remote. That remote is a bit too simple in my opinion. It's maybe better than including nothing, but it's a cheap afterthought. It does work though. The light itself can be adjusted in 1% increments, but it only goes down to 5%. It needs to be switched off completely to turn off the LED. The remote will let you switch it off completely though, which I am happy about. By the way, the output at 5% is about 4,000 lux at 0.5 meters or 10,000 lux with the reflector, which is still fairly bright. 3 of these LEDs from Pilotfly, for example, put out about 4,000 lux combined. It has pretty good light quality. Pretty much all of the different ratings, the CRI, the TLCI, the TM30, the SSI, all of those things are pretty much identical to the 120D Mark II. The only difference was that the R9, the skin tone value, was a little bit lower at 79 on this light, the Golden Eagle light, compared to the Aputure 120D. But just keep in mind that 79 is right about the same spec for the R9 value that Godox advertises for their SL200W, which is pretty similar to this, and the difference there between the 120D Mark II and this is probably going to be hardly noticeable. But anyway, you can see how it looks right now on my skin. Obviously I don't have the best skin, but this is a situation where a lot of people are going to be using it. So what do you think? There's no battery power for this, and I like to be flexible in whatever location I'm in, whether it's indoors or outdoors, and having no battery power means that I'm probably going to be a little bit less likely to take this on location with me. Adding on that, there's also no carry case, so I mean it's a simple thing, it's just a light and the cable basically, but I would really appreciate having a carry case, and you don't get one here. Well, the fan noise isn't crazy. It's definitely louder than something like the 120D, and in my memory from using the Godox SL series, it's pretty much on par with that. So whether or not it's going to be a problem in your audio is depending on what situation you're in, how small your room is, how close it is to your microphone. But with something like this mic right here, I don't think it's going to be a problem. But let's take a listen quickly to some silence with this microphone and the light about 1.5, 2 meters away. So I'm actually pretty pumped about this light. I mean, it's got a lot of kick for the money and light quality to match. If you pay more, you're going to get more obviously, but I think that this is really quite a good value for the price if you're not looking to spend more money than this. And honestly, I would recommend this over the Godox because it has pretty much the same specs, and I've tested the light quality of this myself and I know that it's there. Plus, I think this comes in at a bit of a lower price. If you're on the go a lot, if you're shooting on location, you don't have access to wall power, of course this is not going to be a great choice. But if you do work indoors, if you're keeping it in your studio, if you're trying to build up your first lighting kit, I think this is going to be a great choice for you to save some money and still not make a huge sacrifice on the light quality. So if you have any remaining questions, please do let me know down below and I will do my best to get back to you. If you like this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends if you like, subscribe to see more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching.